Thank you, Janet, and thank all of you for coming out today. Hey, Mom, look, I'm a rock star. Thank you. What I want to do today is to lay out some of the global context for why we're here today, and to lay out some of the reasons why forest protection are a critical part of ensuring a livable planet. Some of us, including myself, are older than the space age and can well remember when people first got high enough up into the sky to see the Earth as a teeny blue marble in the vastness of space, and how we came to the sudden and stark realization that that's all we have. All our hopes and dreams, everything we hold precious and dear, even our very existence, depend on how well we take care of our little blue marble. And so far, folks, the record is bleak. We find ourselves enmeshed in a runaway economic system that gobbles up every resource in sight, leaves mountains of waste behind, all in the service of private gain and an empty promise of endless growth. Some of us reap great rewards, but only at the terrible cost of much suffering and ecological devastation. More of the same, more business as usual, is certain to dangerously degrade and possibly destroy the future of civilization. Our actions now have profound consequences for the entire planet, a fact we now recognize as a new geological epoch, the Anthropocene. It is our plight to confront a perfect storm of multiple interconnected crises that threaten the future of humanity. But I want to focus on just two: climate breakdown and biodiversity collapse, both of which are traceable to the ever-increasing demands of industrial civilization. We are already in a climate emergency because of the ever-growing buildup of CO2 and other greenhouse gases, a few everyday waste products of industrial civilization, even with dramatic reductions in fossil fuel use, which have yet to occur. The ugly fact is that the cumulative amount of these gases will soon reach levels that place our future in mortal danger. There is no time to spare, and though absolutely necessary, it is simply not enough to eliminate fossil fuels. We must also remove vast quantities of CO2 from the atmosphere. Only a dual strategy of dramatic emission reduction and increased carbon removal offers a plausible prospect for a livable future, as the IPCC has made abundantly clear. Although the technology to accomplish this task has yet to materialize and would require vast amounts of energy if it did, enormous natural systems to capture and store carbon already exist. We call them forests. As the largest traditional carbon sink by far, the world's forests already capture a significant fraction of the CO2 produced by human activity, and they could do so much more. Here in New England, our forests could sequester twice as much carbon every year and continue to do so far into the future. All we have to do is get out of the way and let them get on with the job. Just as forests are needed to preserve a livable climate, they are also needed to preserve biological diversity. Although still underappreciated, the rapid and accelerating rate of extinction is a danger of comparable significance to climate breakdown. The myriads of living organisms with which we share this planet are essential to our well-being and survival. Nature is a necessity, not a luxury. The rate of extinction is already hundreds of times greater than it was a few thousand years ago. A sixth great extinction is already underway, comparable to the 5 great extinctions of the geological past, each of which dramatically altered the history of life. A recent UN panel reported that more than 1 million species are in imminent danger of extinction. Long-term sampling has shown that insect abundances are dramatically declining. And so we even hear of an insect apocalypse. And still the evidence mounts. Scientists recently reported that there are 3 billion fewer birds in the US and Canada than there were a mere 50 years ago. Just think of that. 3 billion canaries in the coal mine. How many will it take? I could go on, but I'll spare you the grim details. The causes of the biodiversity crisis are many, but almost all of them trace back to the ever-increasing demands of industrial civilization, habitat destruction on a global scale, vast volumes of pesticides, every one designed to kill, thousands of other chemicals unknown in nature, ever more intense industrial agriculture, and the list goes on, all of which reflect the ever greater diversion of resources from natural ecosystems into the human project. It is a sobering fact that humans and their domestic animals now make up more than 98% of the total biomass of all terrestrial vertebrates, while wild vertebrates, mostly mammals and birds, make up less than 2%. All natural ecosystems are important and worth protecting, but forests are especially so because of their great diversity. Much like coral reefs, their 3-dimensional complexity, both below and above ground, supports an astonishing variety of organisms. The older, the bigger, and the more connected our forests are, the better they are able to help mitigate climate disruption and biodiversity collapse. It's now well established that older forests both store more carbon and capture additional carbon at higher rates than younger forests. Also, older forests tend to be more diverse because many forest organisms are very slow to disperse into new habitat or require conditions that take many decades to develop. Larger forests, of course, capture more carbon, but they also are more diverse because of the rate of extinction, local extinction, declines with forest size. To tie it together, forests can and must play an important role in mitigating some of the terrible consequences of climate disruption and biodiversity collapse. I want to thank you again for coming out today. Only by joining forces and working together can we build a livable future. Your help is urgently needed in this central struggle of our time. And one final thought, if you haven't been vaccinated, get vaccinated just as soon as you can. We need every one of you. The struggle for a livable future needs every one of you. So get vaccinated. The world, I can tell you, is far too risky to pass up an easy way to avoid additional risk. Thank you very much.